Welcome to the Feeding Our Young podcast. Have you ever heard the phrase, nurses eat their young? Feeding Our Young is more than a podcast, it's a movement. It's a desire to see new nurses of all ages be supported and uplifted by their peers. And it starts with me, it starts with you. So join host Eric Miller, registered nurse of nearly 20 years, and adjunct clinical instructor, and today's honored guest, me, Paige Gladstone, and be ready to have your life uplifted so you can, in turn, uplift others. Welcome to the Feeding Our Young podcast.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Feeding Our Young podcast. I'm going to talk about me just for the whole episode. I'm just kidding. But I am going to talk about me ever so briefly because I'm sure I've had some people are like, Eric, when are you running again? You used to run all these half marathons and now you're a lazy slob. And I say to them, yes, I am. I just sit on my couch, I cross stitch and I eat ice cream. And my body's shown it, my health has shown it, but it's been a much well-deserved and needed break. I literally ran yesterday for the first time in 5.5 weeks. Or 5.5 months, wow. 5.5 weeks. Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
5.5 weeks would be like, woo. No, 5.5 months. And that was the first break I took in over 3 years. So wow. There you are, everybody, on the slow path to getting back to running my half marathons. I'm going to try not to be as obsessive about them this year as I have been in years past, as our honored guest currently could attest to, because she may or may not have been a former student of mine and may or may not have had to deal with listening to me talking about running half marathons because I love them. But enough about me. That was it. 1 minute. I allowed 1 minute about myself. The rest of this, I promise you, is about the most amazing human you're going to meet today, which is one Paige Gladstone. You are welcome, Paige. Good morning and welcome to studio. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm just so glad to have you. And I reached out to Paige. I'm like, I'd love to just chat with you about nursing on the podcast. She's like, I would be honored.
Yes.
So we're trying to work on that. I'm not that direct when it comes to that. And so maybe I should just start being more direct, huh, Paige?
Yes, I think so. Very happy you asked me.
And I'm very happy that you are very happy that I asked you. So I told her I'm going to start asking students one by one, just in life. And I'll just be like, Paige said you would. So, and they'll be like, who's Paige? Anyway, so Paige, let's get to know you. Who are you and where is home for you?
So I'm from Gig Harbor, Washington. It's about like 45 minutes south of Seattle. Beautiful little city by the water, which I love. I go to Gonzaga University. I'll be graduating this May, which I'm really excited for. So I'm almost done with nursing school, which is a big achievement, and I'm ready to be done.
We often joke, especially, being an OB background, we joke about nursing school being like being pregnant. And when you get to near the end, everybody just wants to be done. Like, let's get it over with. Let's get this out. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, congratulations to you. We're going to unpack what that feels like here in a little bit. But before we do, what are the 3 words you chose to describe nursing school?
I would say challenging, exhausting, but at the same time, very rewarding.
Oh, I love it. And then your 3 favorite songs in life right now?
Well, Harry Styles, who's like my favorite artist ever, him and Taylor Swift are like my favorites, but he came out with a new album. So my favorite songs right now are Taste Back, Carla's Song, and American Girls.
Oh,
love Harry Styles.
Nice. Well done. And I'm going to sadly admit that, not that I'm not a Harry Styles fan, but that I'm not familiar with his music. And the only thing that I'm truly familiar with him was his cameo appearance in a Marvel movie at the end of a Marvel movie. I was like, what? They brought him in as some comic character that I'm not, I don't know. And it was like, Harry Styles coming out of nowhere to be in this, like, he's going to be in a future Marvel movie? I don't know. So crazy.
That was a random side quest of his.
Yes.
You know what? He also runs marathons. That's what he was doing on his break between albums. He was running marathons all over the world.
So he's a crazy guy like me. All right. Okay. I gotta start listening.
Exactly.
I gotta listen to some Harry Styles music then. So speaking of running and hobbies and the things that keep us sane in the midst of this crazy thing we call life, what are some of the hobbies that keep you sane?
Ooh, I love crafting. I feel like I kind of took a break from it. It's hard, like during nursing school, to find the time to do it. But
Hmm.
something I've been doing this year, which has been fun, is scrapbooking, like my senior year, which has been really fun. I also love like sewing, embroidery over breaks. I like to do that, make my friends like gifts, which has been really
Oh.
fun. And then working out keeps me sane for sure during the school year, just getting all the stress out. I love going to like bar classes, spin classes with my friends, all that. But yeah, self-care and balance is so important during nursing school because otherwise it's a lot.
Yeah, you have the potential to literally lose your mind. It's
Oh, definitely. Yes,
well,
unfortunately.
so then if someone's like, "My gosh, it does sound like you still do quite a few things whilst in nursing school," how would you advise them? How do you balance that out?
Oh, well, I probably could do a better job of balancing things out. I don't really, yeah, spend as much time like crafting as I'd love to. Working out, I do a better job with that just
Yeah.
because I've just built it into my routine. But just kind of like finding, I don't know, boundaries of like I'll be like, okay, I'm going to study until this time and whatever I get done is what's going to get done and then I'm going to go to the gym and then that's going to be my night. So just trying to like know that, you can't get everything done all at once and it's okay to take breaks and care for yourself because at the end of the day, even though you're maybe not doing schoolwork, it's going to end up helping you do better in the long run when you're taking care of yourself, which I've found is a very helpful tool.
Yes, and I mean, I'd want you to say it again. It's okay to take breaks, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Oh, it's so important because you're right. Let me ask you this then. When you're doing those things that are not nursing school related, your hobbies, working out
Hmm.
even, for example, are you pretty much able to shelve all your nursing school stuff? Like
Yeah.
compartmentalize it and put it away and then like focus on
Yeah.
your task at hand?
I think so, yeah. And like I don't know. I feel like when you're like in the thick of it and you're like stressed out, I'm like, yes, like I want to take this break or like work out so I don't have to think about nursing school or the stress of it. So yeah, I try to like separate those parts of my life so I can get a break, but at the same time, it is hard to take breaks and I feel like I've tried to work on that because there's just so much to do and you're
Yeah.
just so busy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that because I ask it more from a personal standpoint because I go on a run and I'm part of the running is to keep me sane in life, right? There's all
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
issues that I got to deal with, or you know what I mean, our
Yeah.
responsibilities that are
Yeah.
life just keeps life and I start runs oftentimes like especially if there's something deep or going on in our life or whatever.
Yeah.
This last summer, I'm like I can't stop thinking about it, and that
Hmm.
lasts when I run 13.1 miles. It only lasts for
Ooh.
about 2 or 3 miles, which is about a half
Yeah.
hour. And at that point, I just am suffering too much, and it's like, okay, I'm focused on my body, and we're just dialed
Yep.
in now. So
Yes.
I'm glad to hear though that because it's important to compartmentalize those things sometimes, and to be like, okay,
Yeah.
I am giving this time to my friends. I'm giving this time to my
Yes.
family, to my workout, to my hobby,
Yes.
whatever the case may be. So. And oh
Yes.
gosh, you guys, like you have permission to say, like if someone is like, oh, we need to study, da da da. Oh, I can't. I have an appointment at that time. You don't have to say that the appointment
Yeah.
is for you, but it's an appointment. It's an appointment.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the people in your life, family, friends, etc., what do you want to share about
Yes.
your family?
Well, I have an amazing family. My mom, dad, my sister, and I. My sister, she's 2 years older. She also went to Gonzaga and is a pediatric nurse. So she's been a big role model and mentor, which is just so nice to have because I don't know. I'm a mentor for a couple like lower division nursing students, and
Hmm.
I just like I hope to give them the advice that my sister gave me because it's just nursing school's so different from just any other like college experience that I feel like unless you've gone through it, you don't quite understand it or like I don't know. It's just nice to have someone validate like your feelings. Like I remember, I think a lot of people can relate to the first vital signs exam when I was like, I can't take a manual blood pressure. Like this is the end of the world. And I remember like talking to my sister and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, why is this so hard? Like, I don't know. And she's like, no, like you got this. Like everybody feels overwhelmed. Everybody's like unsure. It's all new, it's all different, but like you can do it. And I feel like having that advice and seeing that like my sister could do it and she did it successfully, throughout nursing school and she's
Yeah.
successful as a pediatric nurse, like I don't know, it gives me motivation, hope that I can do it too. So it's been really nice having her be there. And then my parents and the rest of my family, my aunt's she's a nurse as well, so it's nice talking to her about things and her reflecting back on her clinical experiences. But it's just really grateful, or I'm very grateful to have such a supportive family, and because yeah, you nursing school's hard, and so having
Hmm.
people who want the best for you and who believe in you even when you're like, I don't know if I can do this, um, is is really great. And I don't think I would be able to be where I am today without them.
I mean, you need people to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself, right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
that's why we can't do this thing called nursing school as an island unto ourselves. You just can't.
Yep. No, you
And
cannot.
I just briefly, that whole vital sign exam thing. Yeah, I feel like that's a very
Yes.
ubiquitous experience for every single
Yep.
person because I distinctly
Yep.
remember being terrified
Yep.
of that whole like, oh my gosh, I can't get, and it's the blood pressure, right? You can get everything
It's
else
so
typically.
hard. Yes. But now I've done it like so many times that like anytime someone's like, I need a manual blood pressure, I'm like, I got it.
You're like,
Like
I'm there.
I got it now. It just took a while. I nanny for one of my roommates, her sister-in-law, and she also went to Gonzaga and is a nurse. And so we'll like talk about like nursing stuff. And it was funny because we were talking about, like practicum, all this stuff, and she was like, I'll never forget that vitals exam. And she's, I'm not sure exactly, like probably 10 years older than I am. But I was like, the fact that it's like still a common theme is
Yep.
just so funny.
100%. And I mean, I still even
Yeah.
remember like just the first like skills check off for us was
Oh my
washing our
gosh,
hands.
yes.
And washing our hands, and I'm like, okay, but am I doing it right? Am I doing the right method? Is it gonna because
Yep.
you're so focused on all the minutia, and
Yes.
now it's like, okay, it's you just wash your hands and you do it, for 30 seconds, and whatever.
Right.
It's just so funny to me. That is incredible. You've mentioned nannying. So, what jobs have you? Is that the only job you've had, and how does that help you as you have started your venture here into nursing?
Yeah, I've nannied for a long time. I probably started nannying when I was about 12, just kids in my neighborhood. My sister and I would nanny together too, especially when there was more kids, which has been really fun. Yeah, when there's a lot of kids, it can be a lot.
Help!
But yeah, but it's been really fun, and I feel like it also really kind of led me towards wanting to become a NICU nurse or L&D peds. Just I really enjoy being around kids, helping them. It's a really fun job to have. And it's crazy that I've been, doing it for so long, but I really enjoy it. It's so fun, especially in the summer.
Hmm.
Like last summer, the kids I was nannying, we had like a lemonade stand, which was really fun. They made a lot of money,
Oh,
much more than I made when I had one
you're
when I
like, I'm
was
gonna start
younger.
doing this myself. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you guys are making a lot of money, but it's really fun, and I don't really do it as much when I'm, in school, but over breaks, and in summer I'll nanny for them again, which is really fun.
Oh man, it speaks towards your caring spirit, right? Like you're doing this from an early
Well,
age,
thank
and like
you.
you said, like you just want to care for others, you want to help others. I mean, you want to make a buck while
Yes.
you're doing it, but that's not why you know what I mean? Like it's not
No,
why we
yes.
do it. It's not the ultimate why, anyway.
Yes,
Maybe it's one of the
exactly.
smaller whys. Um,
Yes.
awesome. So then we've kind of touched on this without touching on it, but you did answer the prompt. Who or what inspires you most in life?
Yes, definitely my family. Kind of mentioned this before. They're just very supportive. My mom really just gives me the strength to believe in myself, which, as I mentioned, is really needed during nursing school when you're like, how am I supposed to get this care plan done? And I have clinical tomorrow, and I have an exam, and I have to just, keep up my like personal life. It's just a lot. So just having someone to, support you, always be there for you is great. My dad always like told me, do your best or don't do it at all, which is, I
Mm.
always put everything into everything I do, which I think is great, but can also be a lot. But I like to do my best. I like to put my heart into everything I do, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And then
Yeah.
again, like as I mentioned, my sister, she's the coolest nurse I know. So it's
Oh.
just, yeah, it's so nice having her just give me advice and support. I'm excited because her and my aunt are gonna pin me at my pinning ceremony.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, there's gonna
So
be tears for sure.
yes, I'm very excited for that. But yeah, they just give me the strength to keep going, and um, I really want to become a nurse, and I'm excited that I've had the opportunity to do so, but I definitely could not do it without them.
You can name drop if you want. Your sister and your aunt?
Oh,
Who are we
okay.
praising today?
Grace Gladstone, and then Karen Joyce is my aunt.
Awesome, very cool, and I just love that they are. You know what I mean? You talked briefly about pinning ceremonies, and I don't ever want to miss one. I try my best not to
Yes.
because it's just so amazing to see. I love how Gonzaga does it. Not everybody does it the same
Yeah.
way. I think SCC did it similarly back when I graduated originally, but it's that handing down. They have someone who is a
Yeah.
nurse, active or former nurse, who then pins the graduate, thereby kind of continuing the tradition, essentially.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, I just can't keep a dry eye during any of those ceremonies for that very reason.
Yes.
And
Very
so,
special.
yeah. I wanted to touch on something else you said. You talked about your dad saying, give it your all or don't
Hmm.
do it, or don't do
Yeah.
it at all. And I don't want to dive into your grades personally, but I would imagine, tell me if I'm going off on the wrong tangent here, but I would say, like with our family, we've always ever only preached doing your best work. We don't care
Yes.
what the end result is grade wise.
Yeah.
Obviously, we tell our kids, like, you're too smart to get F's. Like, that's not a thing.
Right.
But if you're giving it your best and it produces a C, a B, or you're passing and it's
Hmm.
not quite the grade you wanted, that's okay. So,
Yes.
does that translate to you and your family? Like, when you say, I'm giving it my all, I'm just trying to prevent people from going, does that mean I want that 98, 99, 100%? I want to be valedictorian. So I really have to give it my all. Is that what you're saying? Or is there a balance to that?
I think it's a balance to that. My parents, like you were saying, they've never been like, oh, you need to get like a 4.0 or, specific or like, you have to get this grade. They've always just said, if you try your best, that's enough. And I think that's really important. I think it's more myself that I want to like do really well, like academically, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm very fortunate that I've never felt like the pressure from my family to, get a certain grade or the fear that I would disappoint them. It's never been like that. It's just been try your best, put your all into everything, and whatever happens is enough. And I'm very fortunate to have had that outlook through nursing school
Yeah.
because otherwise it would be a lot.
Yeah, a lot more than the a lot that it
Yes.
already is. Yes.
Yes.
So Paige, that quality, you know what I mean, of balance, right? But while also giving it your all, is that something that you
Yeah.
kind of infuse into your mentees? These students that are coming under you. You talked about being a mentor. Is that something you pass on to them? And what is it like? Like adding yet another thing on top of everything you do and mentoring these other students coming up.
Yeah, as a mentee, I want to support them academically, so I'll help like tutor them. One of my mentees is a sophomore, so she's going through anatomy, which we can all probably remember how challenging that was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also just checking in with them, making sure like they're taking care of themselves, taking breaks, which again is something that I want to be better at still. But yeah, trying to think about not just the academic part because if that's all you're going to do, you're just going to burn out really quickly.
Yeah.
And nursing school demands a lot of you. So I think that even just sometimes we'll just, get coffee, just chat. And I think that's really helpful. Just talking about, what worries them, what stresses them out, what they're excited for, and then also just kind of validating their feelings. Like, yeah, during clinical, I also felt exactly like that.
Yeah.
I hope is helpful so that they don't feel so alone. But yeah, definitely trying to find um, ways that they can, de-stress or what their hobbies are, I think is really important.
That's incredible. And it's sort of acting like a release valve, right? Like you are a
Yeah.
sounding board for them to just bounce that off of. And like you said earlier, maybe being that resource that they don't have. Maybe they don't have that older sister, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
graduated a few years
Yes.
before and that they can turn to readily. So you become the older sister in that regards, right?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. So then I guess, Paige, let's circle it back around. And like you're in nursing school, you're almost done with nursing school. So exciting.
Yes.
But before we get into the excitement of that, what brought you to nursing school? Why did you choose nursing as your chosen profession?
I've always loved science, like elementary school, always my favorite subject, very fascinating to me. And then I wanted to do something that was fulfilling. And in high school, I volunteered a lot. I volunteered at Mary Bridge Children's Urgent Care, and I loved it. I loved the environment, talking with patients. Um, Even though I wasn't, doing anything necessarily like clinically as a nurse, just being able to talk with patients or, you know, try to, distract a kid who's crying by coloring with them or doing little
Hmm.
things like that, I found was really fulfilling. And that I wanted to do something that wasn't just a job, that I felt like I was contributing to the world. And I felt like nursing really just like combined science and helping others in service in a really meaningful way. And of course, I have family members in the healthcare field who've also really inspired me to pursue nursing. And so all of that just really kind of are the reasons why I want to become a nurse. And I'm so, so happy that I am in nursing school and that I chose that because it's great to, even though like it's an interesting feeling when you're in the midst of the most stressful time ever, but to be so grateful that I have the opportunity to even be learning all this or to go to the hospital and help people. It's
Yes.
kind of cool and just being able to kind of reflect on like I want to be here. Like yes, this is hard, but like I have no doubt that this is what I want to do. And I think I feel very lucky that I chose a career that I feel like that because I don't want it to just be a job.
Yeah. And does that help you get through nursing school, like through those trying times?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, during those hard times, either like a hard clinical shift or just like a busy week with exams, sometimes I'll just be like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this to myself? This is a lot. But then I'll be like, I'll remember those moments like I'll think back on like, certain patients, or I will never forget my first day in L&D when the mom delivered like 30 minutes into my shift and I was like, this is the best thing ever. I want to spend the rest of my life doing this. Those are the moments where I'm like, okay, I'm in the right spot.
Yeah, and I love what you're saying because obviously this is a feeling that everybody feels going through nursing school, but legit, it's what everybody feels even in the field, right? And in
Yeah.
other professions, I'm sure. But in nursing, like there are days that we nurses, even tenured nurses, are like, why am I doing this? Or
Yeah.
why am I still doing this? And even
Yeah.
though you think you have a longer background of those moments, Paige, that, really light your fire and get you going, sometimes it's hard to pull those out in the moment that you need them.
Yeah.
And so it's important to build that bank, you guys, as you are progressing through nursing school and all things. Like you just said, that was 30 minutes into your first shift in OB, which, by the way, for her cohort is literally the first time in a hospital, right?
Yep.
So 30
Yep.
minutes, first time in a hospital, and her mom delivers, and she's like, "Yep, this is what I want to do." So it's just you never know what to expect, and yet you're
Nope.
going to take every one of those things, and you are going to just create that little file in your brain and more
Yep.
importantly in your heart that goes, okay,
Yes.
no, this is, I'm doing the right thing and this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do.
Yes.
And so Ah, I love that. What do you love most then about nursing school? I mean, I guess you've kind of touched on it, but what do you love most about it?
Just like the patient connections, I feel like have been really meaningful. My practicum was in the NICU, and so just it's cute being able to, build relationships with the families because a lot of them, their babies have been, in the NICU for months or weeks. And being able to see them throughout my practicum has been really meaningful. And even the babies, just like I miss them so much. I think about them and how they're doing, and I hope
Oh,
they're going home soon. But it's a very like meaningful experience to be able to help someone and to use my knowledge to help someone, I think is really great. And to have the opportunity to, go to nursing school and have this educational experience and then use it for good, I think is really important. Um, so yeah, patient connections, and then of course I've made some great friends through nursing school, which has been so fun. We had the last couple of days, we've had this like 6 hour NCLEX prep course, which has been a lot. But
mm-hmm.
my friends and I, like, even though it's a lot, I'm like, I can't believe like we're gonna be graduating soon because I wouldn't want to be going through this with anybody else.
Yeah.
You go through it and feel very fortunate of how supportive everybody is and how everybody wants the best for each other, and it's great. It's even though nursing school is hard, it is fun.
Yeah, it's that pain and joy in equal measure that
Yes.
that really is life. I mean, that's the definition of life, right? You can't
Yeah.
keep bad things from happening to you. You can't keep
Hmm.
the sorrows of life from creeping in, and yet you can still find joy amidst all the troubles, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've already touched on this, but let's clearly establish for everybody what is it that you want to do once you graduate?
I hope to become a NICU nurse.
Yeah.
That was where my practicum was. But NICU, L&D, postpartum peds, kind of what I'm hoping for. So I'm
Awesome.
really excited.
And the reason why I want to clearly establish that is because then I want to ask you about practicum. So
Oh,
you have
yes.
this idea of like, okay, you hopefully you're gonna get into one of the fields that you like,
Yeah.
and then you did. You got NICU.
Yeah.
So now take us back to before you step foot on your first day of practicum. Are you worried? Are you nervous? Are you excited? Is it a mixture of all the above?
Yes. Well, during my OB rotation, I had 1 day in the NICU. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna, make this decision on what my, 5 weeks of practicum are based on one shift. But I will say, I had like the best shift. I had a great nurse. I got to watch a surgery on this little 4 pound baby, which was so
Mm-hmm.
cool. I was like, this is like where I want to be. And so I was like, even though I haven't spent much time in the NICU, I just have a feeling I'm really gonna love it. So I was kind of nervous, and I was like, I hope that what, not my expectation, because I didn't know enough, but hoping that the NICU would be something that I'd really enjoy. And yeah, of course I was nervous, excited because I haven't really, done a lot of newborn assessments or know a lot of, things that are going on in the
Mm-hmm.
NICU because
Mm-hmm.
during that one shift, I wasn't doing a lot of hands-on. It was a lot of observing, small things like diaper changes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the first shift, I was like, okay, like what am I getting myself into? But it was amazing, and I learned so much. And I realized that that one little snapshot of the NICU is like there's just so much to it, and I loved the whole thing.
Mm.
It was really cool seeing, babies, just, feeder grower babies to babies with more complex cardiac anomalies, and learning how to feed the babies, all the tips for bottle feeding and gavage feedings, and there's just so much to learn. And it was kind of
Yeah.
overwhelming because a newborn assessment is very different from an adult assessment. And there's so many subtle cues that you have to really pick up on that I was like, not sure what exactly I was looking for. But I
Yeah.
had a great preceptor, my preceptor, Chris. He was great. He really took time to explain things, talk things over, which was so helpful. I will say though, my clinic or my practicum was night shift, which was Kind of interesting, but it wasn't as bad as I thought, which is good because
Okay.
I'm probably gonna have to start off on night shift. But it was a great experience, and I'm so happy that I chose the NICU for my practicum.
Yeah, incredible. Are there any practical pointers for someone who's listening to this before going into practicum? What would be your advice to those students that are like, okay, what's the best way to kind of progress through these 5, 6 weeks or whatever, and come out successful?
I would say the beginning, kind of just at least like the first shift or two, and this is more, I guess, kind of depends on the unit you're in, because if you're on like a med surg unit, you're probably going to be able to do more hands-on stuff immediately. But with the NICU, because the babies are so fragile, everything's so complex, really kind of observing, taking everything in. And then we had these like learning contracts that we made. There were goals that we wanted to achieve by the end of our practicum, which really helped kind of guide. And like I was like, by this week I hope to do this. And
Nice.
so kind of helping that to pace myself with, taking on two patients, giving report by a certain week, giving report to the provider, things like that, kind of pacing myself. And my preceptor and I, at the end of each shift, would talk about like what I think I did well on, what I think I want to work on, and then how I was going to work towards those things that I want to improve on. And um, by the end of it, it's crazy how much you can grow in, 5 weeks if you really um, have goals and then you work towards them and focus on what you can improve. And also really asking for feedback because sometimes like I was doing a lot of like labs, like where, the heel stick. And like
Hmm.
the positioning was like, it's just, I haven't really done that before. So the first few were like, this just doesn't feel quite right. And then by the end, I was like, okay, like my last one was really good. It went super quick. Like, so it just, yeah, asking for feedback and, being okay that you don't know everything. And that's okay because you shouldn't. You're still learning.
Yes, and those I'm going to pick up on those words right there because that is, I've reached out to previous honored guests of the podcast. I've got a speaking engagement coming up to kind of senior, you know what I mean, about to enter the
Yeah.
workforce nurses, and so then I reached out, same thing, and I was just like, hey, each of you, anyone who wants to respond to this, like, what would be your advice to someone like that transition period, right?
Hmm.
Transition into nursing, the transition into practice. And I can't tell you how many times, and various incredible advice, but almost every single one of them added that piece right there, Paige, and that was don't be afraid to ask questions and don't be afraid to be wrong. Like
Yeah.
don't like that is and these are people who are doing this now. They've just finished about a year or a year and a half in, and they're
Yeah.
all saying the same thing. And it's
Yeah.
just like, well, where there's commonality and repetition, that means that it's probably something pretty
Yes.
important. So thank you for
Yeah.
bringing that to light.
Yeah.
Any
Yes.
practical pointers on, you just talked about ever so briefly about having to do night shift for the first time in your life. Any
Yes.
any practical pointers there?
Oh, well, I guess don't do what I did like some nights where I would have like three shifts in a row and then I would, go to bed and I'd wake up at like 6 p.m., which was not a good idea because I would try to like flip my schedule, but I just made it worse. So
Mm.
what my preceptor and my sister said is, on those when you're trying to flip, don't sleep in too late. Try to wake up, maybe around like 2 or 3,
Hmm.
stay up, and then try to go to bed at around a more normal time. But definitely blackout curtains,
Hmm.
possibly an eye mask. I was very lucky my roommates were quiet and very thoughtful because I was like, I need to sleep. Um, but it's just different. Also, it was just funny when like I would be up at like 3 a.m. just snacking, like try to like keep myself awake when I had a shift coming up, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like no one else is awake. Like this is so funny. But yeah, it's definitely different. And it was also really fun because my sister, she works night shift and
Hmm.
a lot of our shifts lined up. So I'd be
Nice.
texting her at like 2 a.m. like you would not believe what just happened or like, oh, I can't believe I'm like up right now. Like how am I eating lunch at like 2 a.m.? Like just stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
fun to, have that support, but it's just different and
Yeah.
I think it's still going to take me a while to get used to.
Yeah, and I'll tell you guys, nobody like I tell people I have the most supportive wife in all the world, most supportive spouse,
Yes.
and even she, like nobody knows what it's like unless you go
Hmm.
through it, and you can
Yes.
be as compassionate as you get, but
Yeah.
please give your night shifting loved ones some extra grace
Oh,
because
yes.
we might be a little crabbier, we might be a little
Uh-huh.
this, a little that, and that's because we're not designed to do this weird flipping.
No.
So,
No,
oh
no.
man. So, Paige, unless there's something I'm missing, I have but one last question for you before we close in our traditional manner, and
Okay,
that
yeah.
last question is this. As you said at the start of your episode, you are less than 2 months away from being
Yes.
done with that, at least the whole school portion of this journey that you're on. How does that feel?
Kind of, it's a lot. It's crazy to think that I'm gonna be a nurse because even thinking back to my first semester of upper division nursing, like, I was afraid to like, oh, I gotta like do a head to toe or gotta go do a blood glucose check. Like those were like the biggest things. And it was
Hmm.
funny, I ran into one of my professors who taught our like fundamentals, like first like, like lecture upper division nursing class. And we were talking about how like at the time like that was our whole world and that seemed so daunting.
Yeah.
And but the growth you make in 2 years is like it's a lot and it's crazy to think about how much I've grown as a nursing student and just like as a person.
Yeah.
um it's nursing school is a challenge, but it's so worth it, and I'm really excited. It feels surreal to think that I'm going to be a nurse, and I'm so, so excited though.
I am excited for you to join the sisterhood and small
Yes.
brotherhood of nursing.
Yes.
Um, and I'll tell you, I love that growth that you talk about there because what just popped into my brain is like what you talked about earlier, right? That very first time you had to do vital sign,
Yes.
like a skill check off,
Hmm.
and you're terrified. You're like, I can't do a blood pressure worth of anything.
Yes.
I can't do it. And then you said, but now I can do it. I mean, essentially with your eyes closed. You know what I mean? You feel like you could do it. Anyone who needs it, you're like, yeah, I got this. And
Yeah.
that was growth in like the tinier things, quote unquote, that you
Yeah.
talked about. But then you guys extrapolate that out further and you go, okay, now I'm going to enter a specialty. Hopefully you get a
Hmm.
start in the NICU and you got all these
Yeah.
things you get to learn. And you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot like thread this umbilical vein, catheter worth of anything. And yet then down the road, you're going to be like, someone's going to need that. And you're like, oh yeah, this is easy. Let
Yeah.
me give you some pointers. And so anything you guys are afraid of, anything you become afraid of, just know that that won't always be a thing. And it
Hmm.
comes with experience and repetition, right?
Yes.
And
Lots of
facing those
time and
fears.
practice.
Oh, oh, fantastic. So, Paige, I hate to end our time together, and I say that with everyone,
Huh.
but it's always true. And so,
Yes.
but we still have to, I guess, stop this at some point. Someone's going to be like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, can you just, enough, enough. Just kidding. They wouldn't say that about you.
No.
They hear my
Oh.
voice enough.
Oh my gosh, no.
So, you chose 3 words to describe nursing school that you're almost done with. What were the 3 words and why did you pick them?
The 3 words I chose were challenging, exhausting, and rewarding. Challenging, kind of as I mentioned, you're going to be doing things that or be tested in ways that you haven't before. I think also what was kind of hard is like the psychomotor part of nursing is especially with like, skills exams, it's different to, take an exam on a piece of paper versus like, can you perform this skill? And so that was challenging. Also just the schedule, the rigor of nursing school, having to balance everything, it's a lot, and that kind of goes
Hmm.
into why it's exhausting. It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
um and you do have to make sacrifices. I think that that is one thing. I can't always hang out with my friends or do all the things that I want to do because nursing school takes up a big part of my life. But at the same time, my last word's rewarding. It's all worth it, even though there's a lot that have to sacrifice or, push through. It's exactly what I want to do, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And there's nothing better than, I feel like, coming home from a clinical shift and just feeling like this is what I'm meant to do. And
Yeah.
just that feeling, and I felt that pretty much every day in the NICU, or well, I'd come home in the morning.
Yes.
Every
Yeah.
morning I'd come home. I would
As
be
the
like,
sun is rising.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be like, wow, like I am so lucky that this is what I get to do and that I can make a difference and at the opportunity to go to nursing school and do something that I'm passionate about and to be able to help others because a lot of people are in that situation or, have the opportunity to become a nurse. So it's all worth it, even though there are times you're like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And tenured nurses out there that are listening, myself included, etch that on your heart. You here we're listening to one wonderful Paige Gladstone saying, I am lucky to be doing this job. And we lose that over time if we don't culture it, myself included. I've had shifts that I'm like, I just don't want to go in today. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to deal with
Mhm.
somebody else's issues. I don't want to.
Yeah.
And those are the shifts that are always the best. I always come out of those
Yeah.
going, oh, yeah, that's right. This is why I do
Yep.
this. Because I think part of the balance is over time, like protecting your heart from those callousing things, those cynical
Yeah.
things that, you know what I mean, that maybe you haven't had to deal with just yet.
Right.
And I'm not making a distinction between new coming nurses and us tenured nurses. The point of the matter is we really are. Every single shift, every single time we walk into our job, we are lucky to be able to call ourselves nurses. And I just,
Yes.
I need to hear it just as much as everybody else, Paige. That's why I love.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So then, this is it. The last question I get to ask you, and that is if you wanted one thing to stick in the hearts and minds of the persons who are listening to you, wax eloquently about nursing. What is that one thing you want them to carry with them for the rest of their lives?
I would say remember why you started. My high school English teacher always said, do everything on purpose for a purpose, and that really stuck with me. It's really easy to become wrapped up in the stress of clinicals and exams and all of that stuff, but really trying to remember, why you're doing what you're doing, I think is so important. And it's kind of important to ground yourself, especially when there's those chaotic or stressful times.
Mm-hmm.
Because despite all the stress and, possible sacrifices that you have to give up, just remembering why you started, why you want to do this, I think has really helped me progress through nursing school. And something that I've carried through and something that I want to continue to carry through because I know as a new grad nurse, it will also be challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so just kind of having that, initial thought of why am I doing this? And I am doing this for a reason and I want to do this, I think is really important.
Like a well you can draw from when you're going through the
Yes.
drought, yeah?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Paige, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for taking time on a weekend whilst doing all the nursing school things to
Yes.
then sit here and talk about nursing. But your heart is evident to anyone who has listened to 5 minutes of this thing. And I am so honored to soon be able to call you peer, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. It's been such an honor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Here's what's happening on the next episode of Feeding Our Young.
So, family is very diverse. I was actually born in China, and I lived with my foster mom for a couple months, and then she dropped me off at a shopkeeper's place, like at a shop, and the shopkeeper took care of me for a couple more months until they were pressured to take me to the orphanage for yet a couple more months. From like I think I was around 9 months old, is what the documents say. And
Oh,
then
wow.
I began foster care shortly after going to the orphanage, and I was in foster care up until I was 5.5 years old when I was adopted into the US.
Did you like today's episode of Feeding Our Young? Want to know more about the Feeding Our Young movement? Check out our website at feedingouryoung.org. Would you like to be featured on a future episode? Maybe have Eric bring his unique brand of encouragement to your nursing students or nurses? Please text us at 509-666-5636 or email us at info@feedingouryoung.org. We're so excited to have you return to hear our next honored guest. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Feeding Our Young LLC. Again, that's username Feeding Our Young LLC. Until next time, be encouraged and go find someone to encourage today.